Another thing that you do that's pretty different from the average person in America is you don't use a smartphone. Um, Obviously, that's a very deliberate decision. Talk to me a little bit about it and how it's probably made your life better, despite the fact that you've given some things up, right? You can't email people when you're on the run. You have to be at a computer to send an email. So you made some sacrifices to do that relative to the expectations potentially of others around you. Because obviously 30 years ago, you didn't need to send email, let alone send it while you were on the run. But we now live in a world where people expect responses and things like that. But walk me through the calculation and the trade-off that's led you to decide, hey, I'm not carrying a smartphone and I'm happier for it.
I was pretty simple. I mean, I didn't have to give anything up because I never had a smartphone. So the idea of sending an email while you're walking down the street is like insane to me, right? I mean, I just like, that's something that happens at your desk when you're working. And when you're walking down the street, you want to be in the street, A, so you don't get run over by a truck. B, so that you can observe this. Like, I live in New York City, at Lower East Side Manhattan, like this sort of bounty of human experience, the sheer craziness and wonderment of being part of human society in New York City or anywhere. I mean, I want that, right? When I'm walking down the street, that's what I want to be experiencing. And when I'm at home working at my desk and I got to deal with email, which is such a sort of tax on our energy and our time, I want to confine that as much as possible. It's drudgery, and I don't want it invading something sort of, to me, precious, which is the experience of being alive. I will also say that, I wrote a book called Freedom, of how humans maintain their autonomy in the face of more powerful forces, more powerful societies, oppressors. One of the main ways in a modern society that people get deprived of their freedom is through addiction. We are an enormously addicted society. People are addicted to drugs, they're addicted to television, they're addicted to social media. To the extent that you're addicted, you are unfree. And the tech giants that develop social media figured out there are algorithms that elicit an essentially addictive compulsive response to social media engagement. Like they deliberately figured out the math of how to addict people to their iPhones, right? To social media. That addiction has resulted in, they've clearly correlated depression and anxiety and suicide in teenagers, particularly teenage girls, starting with the advent of Facebook in, I believe it was 2012, right? They watched the line shoot upwards with the use of social media. It's an algorithm that has killed people, right? Young people. They have blood on their hands because of this algorithm. And so one of the things I don't want to do is I would be just as addicted to that stuff as anybody else, right? We all have a potentially addictive personality, and I don't want to be that guy walking down the street completely submerged in an environment which is designed to addict me further and further, and then monetize my addiction, right? I mean, I'll just go walk down the street on my own, and I'll check my email when I get back home and all the other stuff that the iPhone offers. And again, it's a little minor miracle. You have all of human knowledge, at your fingertips. I'm not sure I want all of human knowledge in my pocket. If it gets all of human knowledge at my desk is an amazing thing. In my pocket, maybe not. Do I need Google Maps to get from here to there? No, I don't, right? I know the sun rises in the east. I can put a map in my back pocket. Like, I can figure it out. Thank you. Do I need to, get a car, a ride, an Uber with my iPhone? Yeah, that would be convenient, but I can also stick out my arm and get a taxi. There are workarounds for all the stuff that the iPhone offers you, and you avoid the enormous downside of compulsive addictive behavior and all the anxiety and depression that statistically gives rise to.
This podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of this information and the materials linked to this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content on this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice from any medical condition they have, and they should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, I take conflicts of interest very seriously. For all of my disclosures and the companies I invest in or advise, please visit peterattiamd.com/about, where I keep an up-to-date and active list of such companies.